This is the new MacBook Pro M4 Pro base model. After months with my M3 Max base model, I wasn't expecting much, but after a week of testing, I'm shocked by what this machine can do. And I think Apple might have made a big mistake. If you remember, Apple mostly sent out M4 Max models to big creators to review, and it seemed clear they wanted to highlight the power of the higher end chips. But here's the thing, most of us don't need or want all that power. So I bought the M4 Pro base model myself to see if it could handle the somewhat demanding workflows I use every day, like editing 4K S-Log3 footage and other tasks. And in this video I'll show you how the M4 Pro base model performs in benchmarks, how it handles real-world tasks like 4K video editing, and no, it's not just the export times, and whether it's the right upgrade for you. Spoiler alert, the results might surprise you. Let's start with the basics, the exterior. If you've seen the M3 Pro or M3 Max models, you've seen this one. It's exactly the same. The build quality is top-notch as always. It has the same number of ports and the same dimensions. The only noticeable difference is the display, which is brighter, and you notice it especially when you maxed out the brightness. It's not like blindingly bright, but it's enough to be noticeable. While the number of ports hasn't changed, the M4 Pro now features 3 Thunderbolt 5 ports instead of Thunderbolt 4. This means faster data transfer and better support for external monitors and peripherals. And of course, the star of the show is the new M4 Pro chip. It's built on a 3nm architecture and comes with 273 gigs of bandwidth, almost identical to the 300 gigs in my M3 Max. That's impressive for a base model. But does it deliver in real-world tasks? Let's find out. Let's start with the benchmarks for those of you who like to compare numbers. Here's how the M4 Pro performs in Geekbench, Cinebench and Final Cut Pro export tests. In the CPU test, MacBook M4 Pro shows incredible results, with a substantial improvement over the M3 Max in both single-core and multi-core performance. This really highlights the power of the new M4 chip and the benefits of its 3nm architecture. Now moving on to the Geekbench 6 Metal and OpenCL test, the M4 Pro falls short of the M3 Max. This is expected given that the M3 Max not only has more GPU cores, but also comes with the 2 ProRes encode and decode engines and dual media engines for video encoding and decoding. Switching gears to Cinebench, in the CPU test, the results are very similar, and once again we see the power of the new M4 Pro outperforming the M3 Max. It's a strong showing for Apple's latest base model chip. However, in the Cinebench GPU test, as expected, the M3 Max pulls ahead. Still, the M4 Pro puts up an impressive performance that's more than enough for most creative workflows. Finally, the Final Cut Pro export test. Here, the M3 Max was about 51% faster than the M4 Pro. Honestly, for my day-to-day work, this difference isn't a deal breaker at all. We're talking roughly a minute and a half longer to export a 10-minute video. That's still incredibly impressive, especially for a base model chip. But numbers only tell part of the story, because at the end of the day, what really matters is how it performs when you're actually working. Let's take it for a spin and see how it performs in real-world tasks, because here is where things get really interesting. I edited an entire 4K S-Log3 10-bit 422 project on the M4 Pro base model with color grading, color correction, audio effects, transitions and motion effects, all while keeping multiple Google tabs open. This project is actually my Black Friday deals guide. If you're curious, I leave the link in the description. The result? Smooth playback, no stuttering and seamless editing. Honestly, it felt just as responsive as my M3 Max. In fact, if someone swapped these machines while I was working, I wouldn't even notice. That's how seamless the experience is. The only real difference showed up during export. The M4 Pro took almost twice as long as the M3 Max, thanks to the lack of dual video encoders. But unless you're exporting 30-minute videos all day, this isn't a huge deal for most creators. Now, instead of just talking about it, let me show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so this is the project I worked on and it's running for about an hour. So all the A-roll is 4K 10-bit 422 footage. So it has all this color grading and color correction and a few effects. All the B-roll here is 4K either from my iPhone 15 Pro or straight from the Sony camera. And at the same time I have a few Google tabs opened, including this 4K video and this other 4K video. And just so you can see what is happening, if you look here, this is the memory, it's in Portuguese, and there's no pressure at all. In terms of CPU, as you can see, it's not even sweating. And in terms of GPU, again, no pressure at all, so it's not even sweating. And so just to show you again, this is a 4K project, S-Log, so which means that this is the kind of footage you get. And all this B-roll, as you can see here, is this one I think was shot from my iPhone, which is in 4K, and it still has color correction for sure. Yeah, there's a color wheels here. So, and as you can see, if I put some sound here, there's no problem, like at all. It's really impressive, guys. This is absolutely incredible. And again, it's running. I actually tried, and I run Logic Pro session at the same time while I was doing everything here, and it keeps like this. So this is the one to go. Okay, so just so you can see them both exporting at the same time. And by the way, this is the M3 Max, and it's at 49% battery. This one is the M4 Pro and is 100% battery, if it does anything. So let's put them at the same time in 1, 2, and go. Okay, so at this point, the M3 Max is 52%, M4 Pro 35%. Okay, so it's almost done, the M3 Max, and 100%, 66%. So that's the difference in a 10-minute video. Now, if you're working with standard 4K footage, whether from a phone or camera, I'm 100% confident the regular M4 chip is more than enough for you, and your wallet will thank you too. That said, if you're looking to future-proof your setup and you can afford it, I will recommend upgrading the RAM to 48 gigs, since Apple doesn't allow a 36 gigs upgrade. Sneaky move, Apple. And the SSD to 1 terabyte because it's really easy to get out of space when you're dealing with such larger files. That doesn't mean this base model isn't a powerhouse as it is. And as far as CPU and GPU performance goes, there's absolutely no pressure at all. So there's really no need to upgrade here. So should you upgrade? In my opinion, if you're using an Intel MacBook or even an M1 Pro and your current machine is struggling with your workload, this is a no-brainer. And of all M4 chips, this base model M4 Pro is probably the most bang for your buck. But if you already have an M1 Max or anything newer, I would say save your money unless you absolutely need to upgrade. At the end of the day, Apple's biggest mistake might just be making the M4 Pro base model so good. For most creators, it's the perfect balance of price and performance, and that makes me really happy. If you've got any questions or thoughts, let me know in the comments. I'll be testing this machine further and would love to hear what you'd like to see next. And hey, if this was helpful, a like and subscribe will mean the world to me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.